before just moving forward, I wanted to connect the dots here. So we registered our compounds, and Akush mentioned numerous times standardization and structure checking. So I would like to ask the guys from the Imre and Chappy to come forward, and they will introduce how to integrate standardizer and structure checker into corporate environment. And then once we're done with that, we'll just go forward.
As you may know, it takes about 5 minutes to boil an egg. That can be said as a fact. But integrating a checker to your system takes less, and we will prove that to you. Welcome everyone, I'm István Rábel, and we will talk about Standardizer and Structure Checker and how to integrate that into corporate environment. So first thing first, what's a standardizer? A standardizer is a tool that can transform your structures into customized canonical representations. So why is this important? Because you want to represent the structure in the same way. So a standardizer can convert calculate-form to aromatic. It can remove explicit hydrogens. It can open up nitro groups and so on. So you have the same structure, but not exactly the same. That's a standardized canonical representation. Why is it important? In a chemical database, it is vital to have a speed search. You need to get your result fast, and a standardized representation will help the system to get your result fast. Structure checker is another issue. That is an interactive tool that detects and tries to fix issues. It is interactive. Standardizer is not. By issues, I mean some bond length problems, covalent counterions, and so on. Checker can find these issues, highlight them, and the fixer can fix them, so you will have a nice structure. Why is this feature important? Well, it is like a spell checker. You write your text, your spell checker highlights your problems, offers fixes. It is the same with structures. You draw a structure, problems highlighted, fixes offered, you are happy, your structure is nice. Okay, a compound registration system, what you've heard before, has both of these features, because what is the most important in the registration system? You want correct structures, you don't want to let problems into your database, and you want your structures represented exactly once, because it can be a little confusing if someone does some measuring in a representation and someone looks the same structure, but it is doubled in the database, so that's a problem. Standardizer will save you from that. You will have exactly one structure at your database, at the registration system. So let's imagine a company whose daily work involves structure drawing, structure searching, structures entered into the registration system, and so on. And let's go a bit further and imagine that this company is working with other companies from all around the world with some cooperation. For example, there is a CRO. These scientists synthesize some compounds, and they are sending reactions to the main reaction database. That's a real-life example. It can happen all day. But what happens if something problem occurs when a sand enters between the cogwheels? Let's imagine that the scientist makes some mistakes with mappings and reactions. As you can see, the same mapping appears more than one atom. That will cause problems while you try to do reaction performing and so on. So that will not be good. The database is already corrupted. Scientists have to make some time to clean it, fix that, and so on. That's not good for the company. And they want to make sure that this will never happen again. So something must be done, but at the moment, ChemAxon Structure Checker not blocks this issue. So what can we do to solve the problem fast and easy?
It seems we got an issue. We have to create a new structure checker that checks duplicated atom maps in reactions, and we should provide a fixer as well. First, Structure Checker has a really nice API that can be used to create custom checkers and fixers. And it can be done, checker of this caliber can be done in about 30 minutes or so, as we have proved yesterday on the developers training. The implemented checker has to be packed into a Java archive and uploaded to a server. This server is available for our users. This way they will be able to integrate the checker if they want to. The integration will happen on the client side. Our users will only need a simple link for this. As you can see, we store the implemented checkers on a server, and all our users can access this checker, and they can integrate it if they want to. So back to our example, we implemented the new checker and fixer. We packed it into a Java archive and uploaded it to a server. We just have to send the link to our user.
Okay, so the new checker can be used to block the problems at the server side, but we don't want to send corrupted reactions through the network, so these emails are sent to the chemists at the site, at the CRO. So what can they do to prevent this problem happening again? Well, they have to fire up Marvin Sketch, go to preferences, and they can easily add the checker from the URL. So they just have to copy and paste the URL from the email. Paste it. The system will automatically recognize and download the jar file with the checker. So the checker is there. Also, the IT personas that they created two fixers to fix this kind of problem. The first will remove the duplicated mappings, and the other one will use ChemAxon AutoMapper tool to remap the whole reaction, so it will be nice and error-free. And as you can see, the checker is available, and it can be used. There are some nice options as well. So while the chemists test the function, I can tell you that this structure checker and the fixer is available at the client machine at every application using structure checker. So from command line, from chemical terms, everywhere. And as you can see, the AutoMapper remapped reaction, and it is fine. So the problem is solved. They will never send a corrupted reaction again. Let's go back to our company, and we mentioned Standardizer as well. So as a second example, let's talk about Standardizer a bit as the second important part of a compound registration system. Let's assume that the company needs a custom action. ChemAxon has an action to add chiral flag to molecules, but they will add chiral flags for every molecule that has a chiral center. So they only want to mark this kind of structure where there is only one marked chiral center. To do this, they have to develop a standardizer action, and they have to turn to their IT department again.
As you can see, we've got another issue. What a busy day. So we need to create a standardizer rule now that sets chiral flag on molecules containing exactly one marked chiral center. Standardizer has a really simple, straightforward API, so this new rule can be implemented easily. We covered the implementation part yesterday on the developers training, so let's just skip to the next step. Integration will happen on the server side now, so our users won't have to do anything to have this new rule integrated. So we just create a Java archive again, upload it on the server, and integrate this into a configuration that is also stored on the server. As you can see, we have the implemented standardizer rules and the configuration on the server too. This way, all our users have the same set of standardizer rules. Moreover, in all ChemAxon software that uses standardizer, like JChemBase or compound registration system, these rules are available to use. So we only have to notify our user that the required standardizer rule is ready.
So at the next moment when the user enters into its software, compound registration system, whatever he uses with standardizer, he will happily notice that the new structure checker action is ready and waiting, so they can work with them instantly. They don't have to do any configuration. The configuration is downloaded. The implemented classes are downloaded, so they are just available and ready to use. So to sum up, Standardizer and Structure Checker really fits well into corporate environment, and you can create your own standardizer actions, checkers, fixers, and so on, and you can integrate it really easily into your system. You can customize how can it be accessed, how much freedom do you want to give to your users. Thank you very much for your attention.
Very nice. I guess what I'm assuming is that in the goodness of time, some of us in this room will be doing submissions to external public databases. Now, so the first question was whether you'd asked around in the sense. Now, I know there's been some meetings on, if you like, the best practice for standardizing and checking, certainly with regard to the content of Chembl, ChemSpider, and PubChem. So I wondered if you kind of talked to them, had any dialogue. For example, that somebody could actually match roughly their checking type protocols internally first, and the other was whether there was any emerging consensus on those checkers and standardizers between your industry clients. Would they kind of converge on the same stuff? It would be very useful if we could.
Okay, I will have some help to answer that question.
In fact, we got a lot of times the question that what is the best practice to standardize structures, and we have some set of rules is downloadable from our website, so can suggest them, but every company has to decide what is the best for them. And of course, if there are some rules like in ChemSpider, we can implement that. I mean, if someone asks something that is already available somewhere else, we can implement that.
So, but I think, short, we haven't done much research on the exact standardization rules that are done.
Stupid question. Why don't you just fuse Standardizer and Structure Checker together, make one piece of soft? Wouldn't it make sense?
Actually, this is a question asked many times. Why don't we combine them? Because they have different purpose. They do totally different things. The API and the configuration is alike because we don't want to confuse our users. We don't want to confuse programmers. But one is a translation tool and the other one is a spell checker. They are different. They work different, they behave different, and the workflow is also different because a standardizer is a bulk, someone that executes some actions on a structure, while a structure checker detects some issues, has some interaction. You can choose a fixer, not to choose. You can mark a structure correct, not correct. In the term of standardizer, there is no such thing is correct or not correct. It is executed action and that's so on. So they are similar but also different. And we didn't want to create a monster with I can do anything. So they are separated, and we think it is better this way.